I'm going to play a clip in just a moment in which President Trump more or less agrees with you, saying this thing cannot go on for another 3 or 4 weeks. But before that, I won't mention names, but one of the people with whom you will be dining in the next hour just texted me the following. Iranian military forces are reportedly amassing near the Kuwaiti border. You just intimated this. It is likely that the Iranian armed forces will launch a security operation toward Kuwait in the coming hours or days. Iran is also expected to establish buffer zones along the Kurdistan front if the operation expands into that area. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, this, in the 1980s, I spent, 2.5 years in 29 Palms, California, as part of the 7th Marine Amphibious Brigade, and then the 5th Battalion, 11th Marines, part of it. That's the Marine component of the Rapid Deployment Force. That means that I had a go bag with me 24/7, ready to board an airplane and fly out and execute, operation plans that would be about an Iranian breakthrough through what we called Fish Island at that time. It was an Iranian defensive belt. If they broke through Fish Island, then pivoted, they'd take Basra, and then they could go down to Kuwait City, and cause a lot of harm. The Iranians, they have a war plan for this, and we don't have a response to it. Our military forces in Kuwait are not sufficient enough to and if the Iranians go into Kuwait, understand they just have basically taken out the logistical support base for all American forces in Iraq and elsewhere in that region, all ground forces. That means that we're going to be isolated. They'll take out not just the logistical places, but they'll take out the staging areas, meaning where we would normally stage if we were going to fly materials in. This is a genius move on the part of Iran because there is no ground forces capable of withstanding them. Again, the United States military is a shadow of its former self. The Marine forces that are in theater are 2 battalion landing teams. They will not be able to do anything other than die in mass if they try to confront the Iranians. We have we have an army brigade, but the troops have been removed because of the threat of Iranian ballistic missiles. If the Iranians do this, it'll be one of the more genius moves ever because they will succeed. They will take Kuwait City. They will throw out the Sabah family or whoever's governing Kuwait today, and Kuwait will be there. And then next that will come will be Bahrain. Bahrain, if the Iranians move on Kuwait, you will see Bahrain, 60% Shia population go up. And then they threaten the eastern Saudi oil fields. If Iran continues to thrust down and Saudi Arabia can't stop them, they don't have the military force to do this. And the Shia revolt in there. This is something the Iranians, the Quds force has been preparing for some time now. This could set the entire region on fire. Could be the end of the Al Saud family, the end of a number of these perfumed princes that have been governing at the behest of their British neo-colonial lords and their American warlords for some time now. I don't know if this is true. I mean, again, I'm hearing it for the first time here, but it's definitely something that the Iranians have been preparing for since the 1980s, and they have the forces to do this. And this is a game changer. Again, the Iranians aren't playing around. This isn't this isn't an inferior enemy. This is an enemy who has extraordinary technology. They understand military art. These are people that hijack American drones because they know how to break into the codes. These are people that trained Hezbollah to mimic Israeli special operations forces in terms of communications, voice patterns, etc., so that Israeli special forces can be slaughtered. These are guys that defeated our JSOC raiding team on the ground in Isfahan. So these are really, really, the Iranians are very, very good at what they do, and we just don't have the capacity to do anything other than get defeated. And this could be bad because, we have lots of Americans on the ground right now in Kuwait. They are not combat troops. So we have the potential now, if Iran makes this move, of losing tens of thousands of Americans as prisoners or casualties because they can't defend themselves. They aren't ground combat troops. These are in the rear with the gear kind of guys who are sitting there manning radar posts and doing this, that, and the other thing. There is no ground combat force that can stand up. The Kuwaiti army has no capacity. So this could become an absolute disaster for the United States if it's true and if the Iranians pull the trigger.